Hi guys, today I'm going to be presenting my Constitution unit plan. So, 5th grade is the grade that this unit plan was designed for. However, you could adapt it to a lot of different grades, probably higher, 6th grade. You could do 4th grade maybe. So the standards, I have 6 of them, two for each lesson. Lesson 1 is going to be about visual arts. We're going to really be focusing on the Constitutional Convention, why it convened, the necessity of having a constitution in our country. And then we're going to interpret art by analyzing characteristics, form, and structure. We're going to be doing analysis and then responding using artistic language, which ties into the standard. For lesson 2, we're going to be focusing on theater, describing the rights in the First, Second, Third, and Fourth Amendments, so focusing more on the Bill of Rights aspect of the Constitution. And then I'm also going to throw in some preamble, even though it's technically not in the standard, but we're going to throw that in there as well for that lesson. And then we're going to be doing acting exercises, really applying that through a poetic game, which I'll talk about later. Lesson 3 music standards are going to be describing concerns that people had about individual rights. We're going to talk a little bit about inclusion and why individual rights are necessary for the Bill of Rights, and then ratification, how that process worked to ratify the Constitution to have the Bill of Rights. And then for the music portion, we're going to be creating and arranging songs and instrumental pieces. That's going to be more of the unit plan, but it's also going to come into play for the lessons. So assessments. I'll kind of walk you through what the assessments formatively and summative will look like. Formative assessments we're going to do for art is an index card mark. So we're going to talk about sign and symbolism. And then I'm going to have them sketch something that is representing sign and symbolism and then write just on the back what it means. I'm going to have a rubric for this, and then I'm just going to kind of gauge their understanding and learning so we can go into depth for like the next mini lesson for that part. Theater is going to be one anecdotal observation, just me walking around the room, gauging, see what students need more learning on. And then at the end of the lesson, there's going to be an exit ticket. There's going to be questions. There's an objective checklist that I included in my unit plan that I'm going to be looking at for assessing their knowledge. Music-wise, we're going to be doing, to assess their prior knowledge, we're going to do a review, collaborating kind of thing. And then, again, that'll be like anecdotal. And then there's going to be a Bill of Rights order assignment. So not as kind of an assignment, but I'm going to gauge if students have the ability to order the Bill of Rights, because that is one of our outcome goals for the standards. And then summatively, the summative assessment is going to be a big project. It's going to be an end of unit problem-based learning project. So there's going to be both individual and collaborative responsibilities. So the end goal is for students to integrate arts and social studies and represent how they did that. So we're going to focus on creating, responding, a lot of creating. So for example, we are going to be creating lyrics from one of our activities in the theater game lesson. We're going to create lyrics that are about the Bill of Rights, the Constitutional Convention, why it was convened, and then we're going to use those lyrics to create and arrange a song, which we'll talk about in lesson 3. And then to represent that song, we're going to create a song cover using inspiration and sign and symbolism from the visual arts aspect. So as a whole, that is what it looks like, but individually, I'm going to have certain things they're going to have to do because I need to know that they're individually being successful in the outcomes that we have desired. Yeah. All right. Arts integration, kind of talked about it a little bit, but here's more specific examples. For visual arts, we're going to be responding and creating. So in the first lesson, we're really going to be responding to the art in the time period of when the Constitution was created, kind of looking at a lot of different art pieces and then using artistic language, a lot of discussion about that, what our personal opinions are, and then assessing like the shape and the form and sign and symbolism a lot. So then we're going to use our response knowledge to create our album cover. So as you can see, I have created my little snippet on the right. So if I were to explain this to you, which they're going to have to do before performing, I would say I wrote a table because when we were looking at art pieces, there was a table, and that's kind of really the center of how the Constitution was created. And then I have "We the People" and then "United States of America" in cursive and with a little bit of red, just because there's a lot of conflict that surrounded how America came to be. And also, like, those are two main statements that even we in America use today. And then I have crumpled up paper to symbolize just the mistakes that were made and like such perfection that had to happen for our Bill of Rights to be made. And then a lot of different bubbles that are a sign of conversation. So, yeah. And right. So my theater and music kind of go together a little bit. Theater, we're going to be improvising and performing. Those are the two national core arts identities that really go with the lesson. So for improvising, I'm going to have the students play a poetic poetry phrase game, and they're really going to improvise using their own knowledge and connecting their ideas to their classmates. And then performing is going to come into play when they do their individual dance move assignment. That's part of the summative plan. And then also performing as a group in front of the class. To the right, I have a video that I'll show you after I describe the music, which is a theater demonstration of what their individual submission would look like. So for the music, we're going to do listening and creating. So we're really going to focus on Mozart in the lesson. We're going to listen to music from Mozart, talk about importance, because he was a part of that time period. It's important to understand time period music so then we can connect that to our music today. And then we're really going to focus on creating. We're going to arrange the lyrics from the theater exercise into a song or a rap. But for the video, I kind of show you what amendments I use, how I created my phrases, and how I used my phrases to turn them into a rap, which then I used to turn into a dance that was representing the lyrics. So let's watch. Hey guys, today I'm going to be walking you through how to make lyrics or user poetic phrases from your Bill of Rights poetry game and turn them into your lyrics. And then I'm going to show you my demonstration of the dance to go with those lyrics. So I'm going to be using the First and Second Amendments. The First Amendment says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Number 2 is a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So those are the two that I'm going to be using for my dance. Again, I want to remind you that we're all going to be doing individual Flipgrids, which is a TikTok kind of like app, and you're going to be singing or speaking, your choice, what your lyrics are. So here would be what I would do if I were doing First and Second Amendment. Number 1 is the freedom of speech, religion, and liberty. Number 2 is the right to bear arms. So it's really simple. Pick things that are representative of your lyrics, meaning if I do freedom of speech, you can kind of get that this is speech, religion, kind of like the Bible, and liberty, like the Statue of Liberty. So I'm really excited to see all of your guys' videos. Get creative. You can even influence some other types of movement. Think about the types of movement we talked about. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with. So as you can tell, there's a lot of integration from many aspects of the lesson that come into play. So it's going to be super important for students to really grasp all of the concepts in order for them to formulate and really represent their knowledge. To wrap it all up, at the end of the summative assessment, so at the end of all of the lessons, all of the art integration, all of the learning, I'm going to bring back the prior knowledge assessment, and I'm going to ask them questions about what they learned, give me feedback on what perhaps we could do better or things that they would like to see carried over into other units. This is really going to be more of their assessment because it's going to be few sentences to paragraphs. That's really going to help me understand what they learned and also help me get feedback so that I can improve on future lessons. And then I have just here the references. So Michigan Department of Education and the National Core Art Standards were two of my foundational references. But yeah, I've been super excited to do this lesson and unit plan, and I hope that you guys enjoyed.